Hi guys, welcome to Mondays with Mary. So today we're going to use the Build-A-Garden from this month. It's still available, and it is the Primrose. And this month in the Build-A-Garden, you get the stencil, the stamp set, and the die set. Normally in the Build-A-Garden, you get the stencil and the stamp set. If it's a big set. If it's a small set, you also get the die. If it's a big set, you have to purchase the die separately. Or I get the subscription, so I got this last month. But now, if you bought it, and it was a large set, I think you have the ability now to do a bundle that includes the big die. So, but this was the very first subscription I ever got to Altenew, and I loved it because it had the stamp, the stencil, and then a die. So I am going to use it exactly how they show. And if you're familiar or not familiar with Altenew, inside they always have instructions, which is another thing that I like. So they always have a layering guide, and they'll have, so they give you this one, which is this. Isn't that pretty? And then all the colors that they've used. This one, all the colors that they've used. And then they give you a third one. And so we're going to be doing this one and using an obscene amount of different color or different shades of greens and like a wine color for such a small flower. So we've got, I'm not going to use obsidian because even though I love it, it does take a while to dry, and I don't want to, I want to be able to just continue. So we're going to use a jet black instead. And then we're going to use Puffy Heart, Purple Wine, Cosmic Berry. I don't have Mango Smoothie. That's an old color, and I don't know why they used it, because it's not available in the fresh dyes. So we're going to use Warm Sunshine instead, and it's just for the little center of the flowers. So then we're going to use Firefly, Grassfield, Shadow Creek, Mountain Pine, and Evergreen. And like I said, that's a lot of greens for a small flower, but we'll see. We will see. So we are going to use a card panel, and we're going to stamp. Now, I could choose not to stamp and just go with the stencil, and it gives it more of a softer kind of watercolor look, but I want all the detail, and you can't get all that detail, you know, if you don't use the stamp, you know, all the veins in the leaves and everything. So let me get my Misty out. Let me double check to make sure this is the right size. Yeah, okay. I did the Altenew's Cozy Comfort retreat this weekend. So we had different panels of different sizes and stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that this was good. All right. So this is new. So I'm gonna season it. You always want to season your stamps because they tend to come with a little manufacturing, I don't know, it's kind of a coating, and you won't get a good stamp image. So, all right, let's give that a try. Like I said, we're going to use our black instead of our obsidian. This is really fine lines. So we're going to have to do this at least a couple of times. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Let me get this right here in the middle. All right, yeah, that looks pretty good. So let's just do one more. And then because this jet black is a dye, we'll be able to go right in and start our stenciling. Let me know if you've picked up this set, either just a one-off purchase or if you have a subscription to the Build-A-Garden. All right, that should be good. There's a weird noise going on. I don't know if you can hear it or not. All right, excellent. Now I'm going to leave this in here, and I've put this in the corner. So when we're done stenciling, I'm going to come back and ink it up and stamp it again, and it'll make it the image nice and crisp. So, all right, so we're going to put this aside. And we're going to bring this in. So let me know if you also attended virtually the Altenew's weekend retreat. Actually, it was just Saturday. I've done there were 6 classes and I did 5 of them. So once I'm done with the 6th class, then I'll show you all the cards we made. It was fall themed. So there's a lot of pumpkins going on. So this stencil set has 4 stencils, and because it is a smaller image, it has like a background back here, which I don't think I'm going to use, because I might if we cut this out, I'll use it on the background with a very light coloring. So, all right. So Altenew, to save money, for us to save money, they usually divide up the stencils. So I don't know, you could probably see, but there's an etch mark here and an etch mark here, and that's dividing 3 different sections. So this is A1, A2, and A3. And so you kind of have to sometimes rotate. So, all right, so we're going to start up here, and we got to figure out, all right. So we're just working right here in this area because this is all etched. So we just want to make sure that this is here and lined up good. I had it and then I lost it. All right. All right, I am going to tape this down since it's off of the mat. And we are supposed to be using Puffy Heart with this one. Which is our lightest of our pinky purple or pinky wine color. And let me make sure I don't have, we had very, very intense colors that we used for the retreat. They were beautiful, but I want to make sure I don't have any of that still on my brush. And I actually think because this is so small, I am going to go in with a little brush, so I'll have more control. So let me clean this one. All right, so I'm going to go right here in the middle and get a darker color. And then go with a lighter hand. And this is a light color, but it has a lot of intensity. All right, so that's our first layer. I'm going to wipe it. That's the only thing that you have to be concerned about when you're using a stencil that has like this with the 3 different areas. You want to try to stay as clean as possible so you don't get inky fingers. And all right, so that was number 1. All right, so we're going to move down here to number 2. To the A2. And you can't see probably, but it does have what we just did etched, so that you can line it up. and know where you're supposed to go next. Which is right there. I'm going to put that down there. All right, so now we're going in with purple wine. And since it's the same family, I'm just going to use the same brush. I am going to wipe it off. But you can see the step up in color from the purple heart to the purple wine. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in right in the center and get it a little darker. And then use a lighter hand. Like I said, there's a lot of color. So we didn't even need to actually ink up again. And maybe you can always take off color or add color, but you can't take it off. All right, so now we're going to do a really dark cosmic berry. Let's wipe this off. All right, so this is where we're going to be tricky because we need to flip. We've been using this way, and it says A3 this way. So, and the instructions tell us to take the stencil and turn it 90 degrees. And so, since this is our last, this should be fairly easy. To line up. Put this back down here. Gonna tap off. Get a little bit more dark right there and right there. All right, let's take a look at that. Let me wipe off. So I don't think there's enough difference between the first two layers So I am going to put the second layer back. And I'm going to go in a little bit darker. The example shows that you can really see the difference. And so I'm going to go back in with our purple wine, which was our second color we used. And then just go in just a little bit darker. Hopefully not a lot, so I want to try to use a very light hand. But I do want to, I did just clean the brush from the last color. But I do want it to be just a little bit darker. All right. Let's see how that turned out. Hopefully it didn't get too dark, but if it did, nobody's gonna know. You know, nobody's that you give the card to is gonna critique it, and if they do, then they don't get a homemade card, you know, a handmade cardigan. Yeah, I think that gives a little bit more definition. All right, so now we've got number 2, and it is B1 A4 and B1. So we're going to do A4, which is our little centers of our flowers right there. So we'll get those out of the way before we move on to the greenery. All right. Okay. That was quick. Let me get a clean part of the cloth. I can rub clean off here. And those are done. All right, so now we are doing the lightest of the leaves. Oh no. Look, you see, as careful as I was, let's see if I can get some of this off. You see how I got ink on here? That's the problem. And you know your reds and your pinks. All right. Let's see what happens when we put some color on it. These leaves are spiky. I think that's good. All right. Let me put this over here. And Firefly is our color. All right, let me make sure I don't have any residue of a different green still on my brush. All right. I'm gonna go right in the center where the base of the leaves are, and then work my way out. This is a very, very light green. All right, so that's Firefly. And that is all that's on stencil number 2. Stencil number 3 has 3. So we've got B2, B3, and B4. All right, so it looks like we're doing these 2 leaves in the next shade of green. I'm gonna cover up here so I don't make a mess. And that's with a grass field. So we've used the Firefly, now we're going to step up to the grass field. And these are all in the same, these 4 greens, like the 3 of the wine colors that we use, are all in the same family. Altenew does groups of 4 in each family, like Pink Fresh does. So it makes it easy when you're coordinating your colors. All right, well, that was easy. Got it a little bit darker at the base. All right, so that was we're using the same green, but I've already made a mess down here. B2, now we're going to do B3, which is this little tiny leaf right here. And that's going to be in Shadow Creek, which is the next step. And right, yeah. So I'm going to get the little tiny green brush out. this is a lot darker. All right. All right, and now we're moving over to B4, which is going to be interesting. See if I could figure out, there we go, which is the big, the veins. So I'm trying to find the etching. All right, that looks good. And then we're going to go in with Mountain Pine, which is the next darkest for this one. And this is going to put these dark veins right here in. And lucky for me, it covered a bunch of that red that I accidentally put there. All right. And this one this stencil is done. And we are on the last one. All right, and so our last one is going to do right here. And we are going to have to cover this because I do not want any of this color going over here. And we are using Evergreen, which is from a different family, but still in the same tones. All right. I just moved everything. Hold on, we gotta redo. Nothing is. Let me move this other way so I can get this to stick down. All right. Because these are so thin, I'm just going to go up and down and follow the lines. They definitely want to, these two over here want to move, so let's keep a good thought. All right. Ugh. All right. Okay. Let me clean this off. Boy, we get that dark green everywhere. All right, so that's our flower. Let me get this away before it gets ugly. I'm going to bring this back in like we talked about. And we haven't moved that. And if we get this back in the corner, everything should just be fine. Fingers crossed. All right. And like I said, going back in with this is just going to define the outline. It's not something that you have to do. It doesn't, you know, it depends on the look that you want. There, see how it just darken that outline and really gives it the detail. So we can go in again and do it, but I'm happy with the way it looks with that. So now the choice is, you could either, you've already got your card base, you could either cut it down a little bit if you want, and then, you know, put it on black and white. You can use the die. We're going to use the die, and then let me clean this off before I use this. I don't want any chance of any stray color here. All right. So we're going to put this aside for just a second. I'm going to get a card base. I'm going to bring this back over for a second. just going to, let me see, kind of divide this so the line is here. Just divide this up a little bit. Find a spot. I'm going to hold this down, and I am going to use Contour Ink by Hero Arts. I like it because it's a light color, and then as it dries, it gets a little bit lighter. It's kind of a gray, but I like it for just putting a soft background to ground. All right. This is not stuck down, so I gotta hold this. So we're just gonna go a little bit heavier in the middle. And then work our way out. And then we can just see, just a light bit of color. In our way. All right, and then as it dries, it will get lighter. So we've got that. And then let's cut our flower out. Put this aside. Put this away. Let me get that away before I get ink everywhere. It shouldn't be. And what did I do with that dye? Here it is. All right. Have quite the mess going here. The nice thing about the dyes also is, besides the flower, they give the dye for the big sentiments. I won't be putting a sentiment on it today because if you know me, I like to wait to put a sentiment on until I'm going to actually give the card away, and then that way I have options. All right, so you need to stand up for this because you need to get it just right, and I am notorious for not getting it right. Even when I stand, I end up with too much white on one side. It looks good. This is magnetic, so, well, the mat isn't, but the base is, so we should be good. All right, well, fingers crossed. Okay. Get this out of the way. All right. I'll see. All right. Oh, it does look good. All right. It looks even. I'm happy. Good boy, I tell you, sometimes I have to do a little fussy cutting, and you know, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I don't like the fussy cut. All right, so let's get our base down. All right, let's get some. All right, I've got some Tailored Expressions, very, very thin. So we're going to use some of these. But I think I'm going to have to cut them down. Give it a little bit of loft. And then we'll be done. All right. One here. Probably should have used the Altenew, the skinny roll, but it would have been quicker, but this will be fine. This is actually, I think, the thinnest that I have. All right. two little ones. Boy, I can't cut this right to save my soul. All right. Be off with you. All right. So we've got this all covered. Come on, get over here. I make sure they're down good. So we can peel them off. So let me know if you subscribe to any of the Altenew subscriptions. Like I said, I did the Build-A-Garden. I've been subscribed to the Build-A-Garden since they started, I think like 2 years ago. And then I also do the Craft a Flower and the Craft Your Life. Craft Your Life is, I really like because it has the stencil, the stamp, the die, the embossing folder, and it's always a big set. Oh my goodness. All right, I think we got them all off now. All right, so again, let me stand for this because I am not very good about all right. So I like this thin one because while it brings it up a little bit, gives it a little bit of loft, it's not too bulky for the mail. So, all right. And you can see a little bit of our background. It's starting to fade out, but it just gives it a little bit of grounding. We could have gone out further, but it gives us some white space to put some gems on when I'm ready to send it. So, and the ring almost covered this, and I'm not worried about this. I can put a gem on it. So, all right, so that's it. So let me know what you think about this Build-A-Garden Primrose. This card base does not want to stay here. There. Let me know what you think about it, if you picked it up. And if you've subscribed to any of the Altenew. Also, let me know if you participated in the Altenew Cozy Comfort Retreat this past weekend. And if you did, what you thought about it. This is the last one for the year. So now I'll be able to have time to catch up on a couple of ones that I missed, that I signed up for but missed because of one reason or another, participating in. And I still am working on reorganizing and purging my room. So, yeah, as a crafter, I'm sure you know, this is like a never-ending thing. So, all right, so let me know in comments, and let me know if you've been working on something else. Let me know what it is. So if you're a subscriber, thank you. if you haven't subscribed yet and you would like to, you can hit the subscribe button. And then if you hit the bell, it will send you a notification when there's a new video to watch. Also, the thumbs up is the like button. It lets YouTube know that you enjoyed a video. And then the share button makes it easy to share with friends. So that's the whole thing. All right, so also let me know what colors you think, if you did this, you would use. I like this. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit more winey, but I mean, it is winey, I guess. I guess I was thinking more purpley wine. I don't know. Even though it does say purple wine in one of the colors. But I like it, because especially since I spent most of Saturday using oranges and reds and greens for fall and pumpkin colors. So it was like, I do not want to see orange again for a little bit. So, all right, so that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, stay safe, stay well. Happy crafting. See you later. Bye-bye.